Term limits, it's a question I get very often, and it's a difficult question to answer because the key element of the point of the question is that we have collectively failed as Americans to do our job as citizens. I'll quickly remind people that we are a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. And with that comes a real responsibility as voters and as citizens to participate in the process and make sure we put the right people into office that will represent us in the proper way. Now, we have failed collectively. Here in the 4th District, we failed. We've let the same guy be in office for 24 years. It's largely because he lives off the Democratic vote in Chapel Hill and the vote in Durham. But it's also because not enough other citizens have become involved in the process to knock him off. It goes on. I believe the only way we should do is to use the Constitution, and that is to amend the Constitution in order to put term limits in place. I don't think we should do it with legislative action. There is an interesting thing going on here in North Carolina called bonded term limits, which is set up by a group of private citizens that has suggested you tell us how long you want to serve in Congress, and they want something between 3 and 6 terms in the House of Representatives, so 6 to 12 years. And you put up, essentially, you engage in a legal promissory note that says, after this many terms, I will no longer seek election. And if I try to do so, then a promissory note will be kicked in right away and will be given to some charity of your choice. I like what the Founding Fathers had in mind, that is a citizen representative. I can tell you now that I will not serve longer than 10 years in the House of Representatives. If you like me so much when that time comes, then I'll get my butt into the Senate or into the presidency. But I appreciate the question. There's a little bit of a moral hazard that ensues with respect to term limits as well. If we have repeated lame duck sessions that can be taken advantage of by nefarious lobbyists and special interests throughout the country. So term limits in and of themselves are not a panacea. We have to take on responsibility ourselves to make sure those people that don't represent us well are removed and those that do stay in office. So, sum up. A constitutional amendment is something I get behind for term limits. Absent that, I think we as citizens have to do our job to remove those that aren't doing what we want and put those people in place that will. All the time. We're living way outside the bounds of the Constitution right now. And we know that because of our yearly deficits and our national debt. It's almost one of the saying, reduce national expenditures or live within the confines of the Constitution, all of a sudden we become a more limited government. The only answer to your question is to vote them out of office. Put people in place who are the right people, who respect the Constitution, who when they pledge to do what they said they're going to do, they actually do it. It's not that hard. It's just a matter of putting the right people in place. And